you standardize, or when you reflect a static mode of technology and innovation, then it will be possible for us to fix up the maximum units of productions that we can come out with. Okay. Now, at the same time, we are also limiting the foreign laborers from getting into our market. Remember the ECO204 model? Yeah. If you remember the ECO204 model, it says that factors of endowments or resources that belong to a country cannot be transferred to other country. That means they cannot be mobile. They can only be mobile within their country, right? So in that case, we know the number of labors or capitals that we have. So it's easy for us to determine the maximum units of productions that we can come out with. But guys, let me ask you this. What if innovation and technology is going to happen in the long run? There will be a possibility for the maximum units to change. I mean, there might be a sort of possibility where the maximum units can be higher than before or lower than before. Yeah. So that is what we call as uncertainty. When we have changes of technology and innovation in the long run, there will be a possibility for us to be in an uncertain environment. We are not sure what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years' time, right? So we are not sure how well we can trust the merchants, right? So when it comes to evolutionary system, there's always what we call as an estimation or prediction. There's no such thing as actual, right? We can only estimate the percentage of trust that we have. We cannot say that we are having a full trust on the virtual merchants for about 100%. We cannot say that the maximum percentage of trust that we can have on the online products and online merchants will be 99%. There will always be a 1% difference or 0.01% difference. Now, for evolutionary ecosystem, we are really particular on the minor changes. Now, we might say it's only 1%, but the 1% is very important for evolutionary ecosystem because the information is not perfect. We cannot guarantee for 100% that the products are going to be genuine. Within the market, we have what we call as a counterfeit items. What do I mean by counterfeit items? You look at power bank, yeah. You compare the original power bank and the duplicated power bank. When you look at the surface of it, it looks like the same, but one of it is actually a fake one. One of it is made with a well cheap materials compared to another one, right? Compared to the original one, yeah. So that is these are the sort of things that are happening within the evolutionary ecosystem. Yeah. So there is no such thing as equilibrium, right? There is no such thing as satisfying all the parties. Now, when you look into a classical market, we used to talk about demand curve and supply curve, right? Okay. But when you catch up, when you put them together, when you put the demand and supply curves together, we only get an equilibrium in terms of price and quantities. That means both buyers and sellers can only agree with the price and the quantities. But they can still compromise on the quality. What about quality? The focus of quality has been compromised within the classical market, right? So that is the sort of thing that we are highlighting within the evolutionary ecosystem, right? In a way, we have to look into genuine and fake items. We should also be having that sort of discussions, right? Okay. So guys, so far, are you all okay?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, good. So Can we move on?
Can you summarize some of the things?
Okay, yeah. So let's okay, let me guys, do you need a short break, maybe about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or is it okay for me to proceed? Because I'm not very sure whether you need time to digest what we have talked about. If you need time to digest, then I can try to give you maybe about 5 to 10 minutes.
Teacher.
Yeah.
So basically, this topic is it in the test, in the final assignment, or we are discussing about the key?
The title is not the same as the title of the final assignment that you're going to get, but it's a kind of connection. There is a connection. There is a connection between this title and the title that you're going to see later on. There is a connection, but it's not the same.
So all of the keyword that you have explained, it
Yeah.
will
Be different.
related.
It will be different. Yeah, it will be different. It will be different within the title that you're going to get. I mean, you might not be getting like the keywords like digital and shadow economic. Instead of that, you might be getting something else. But I can say that digital war and shadow economic are equally important for your assignment. I mean, for your final assignment. Although the title is not the same, but it's equally important. I mean, the keywords that we have talked about right now are equally important. Got it?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Yeah. So, guys, fall back to my previous question. Is it okay for us to proceed, or you need a short break of 5 or 10 minutes?
Yes, 10 minutes is okay.
Okay. So let me check the time. Yeah. Okay. Now it's 10:10 a.m. So can we start back the session at 10:20 a.m.?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah. Okay.
Mr. After the break, can you summarize some definitions of opposite effect and evolutionary ecosystem in the letter?
Yeah. I'll do that.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay, guys, welcome back to the revision session. Yeah. Okay. Now, when I announced for a sort of a short break, there was a sort of a question that has been raised by a student uh, for me to talk about the summary or the synthesis of opposite effects and evolutionary system. Okay, so I'm going to write up some thoughts on that. Okay, right. Now let me put it up over here. Okay, right. So now when I'm referring to opposite effects, I want to say that okay, now when I'm referring to the opposite effects, okay, I'm trying to refer to it as the negative vibrations or negative vibes, okay, that can be caused by digital war and shadow economic to the welfare of the system. So what I'm trying to indicate by this is, okay, now negative vibrations means that, say, um, when most of the businesses are being operated on a virtual dimension, yeah, there might be causing up a difficulty for SMEs, small medium enterprises, who are struggling to open up sites, to promote their products and so on. Okay, like say for example, if you are looking at a local e-commerce site, okay, and you have e-commerce site from a well-established multinational enterprises, okay, like say for example, even though a company called as XYZ, okay, XYZ has the e-commerce site, okay, and Amazon has an e-commerce site, okay. Obviously, in terms of recognition, people used to recognize or to put up a high score of recognition for Amazon compared to XYZ. Yeah. So the negative vibration in this case will be the XYZ will face losses and they might need to close up their virtual shops and give the space to Amazon, right? So that is a negative. That is one of the negative vibes that we can get. Yeah, and besides that, if we look at a shadow economic do contribute to negativity in terms of tax payments. Yeah, okay, as what I've indicated earlier. Now, when most of the digital entrepreneurs open up their businesses using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, there might not be a possibility for authorities to detect their presence unless they have registered their businesses officially within the official platform, right, or within the tax department. Okay, right. So these are what I call as a negative vibrations. Okay, that is referring to opposite effects. Okay, right. Any question on opposite effects? guys. I repeat it again. Do you all have any questions on opposite effects?
Teacher.
Yeah. You said no, is it? Okay.
To be more specific, what is negative vibration?
Yeah, that's what I think I've indicated the example just now. I told you that you see when most of the digital entrepreneurs open up their businesses using like social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and so on, they it's very likely for them to it's very unlikely for them to open up or to register their businesses officially within the tax departments. Yeah. So in that case, this sort of digital entrepreneurs who are doing their businesses using social media, right? Okay, will not be making any tax payments to the tax department. Yeah. So in that case, tax funds of the country might be affected, right? So that could be one of the negative vibrations that we can realize. Okay. Apart from that, we can also say out that some of the products that are being sold within the within e-commerce platforms like Shopee and Lazada can be fake products. That means fake products means products that have low quality. Say for example, you get to Shopee today to buy a power bank, to buy a solar power bank or wireless power bank. That solar power bank you can get it for about $30 example. You can get it for cheaper rate. Okay. Now when you're getting it for $30, okay, or about $15 and so on, okay, $15 to $30, you buy one, okay, and then once you get the product, you can only if you can you only use it for about 1 month, okay. That means the product is not a genuine one. The product is a fake one. Usually, a power bank can actually last for about 1 year. Normally, they will be giving a warranty of 1 year. Yeah. So if the product that you buy from the from the virtual merchants, okay, can't be used for long term, that means it's a low quality product, right? So that could be another example of negative vibrations, right? Now, let me also give you another example, okay? Now, I don't know whether you all heard about this news or not, yeah, but it seems to be that, a group of unauthorized dealers have persuaded the unemployed groups to download an app called as a Shopee Pay app in order for them to work out their investments. Like for example, they have motivated the group of unemployed by saying that if you invest today about $1,000, I think within few days you can get about $3,000 to $5,000. Okay, that is the sort of sweet words that the unauthorized dealers have given to the unemployed group. Okay, now when it comes to that part of it, it's actually a negative vibration. You know why? Because Shopee Pay doesn't exist as a solo app. There's no Shopee Pay app. There's only a Shopee app. Okay, so if you get yourself to a Play Store app or Apple Store, right, you notice that there's only a Shopee app. There's no Shopee Pay app. Shopee Pay comes as one of the features within Shopee, right? So it doesn't come as sort of a separate one. Okay, so that is what we call as a scam. Like another sort of scam is where Say for example, you use Lazada or you use Amazon. Okay, you communicate. You use a chat room to communicate with the merchants and so on. Okay, if you see the dealings, the communications all must be within the platforms. Okay, it cannot go out of the platforms. The moment the communications go out of the platforms, like the moment the merchants invite you to join his or her WhatsApp groups, that will be a first indication that you're going to get with the scammer, right? Second indication could be like through the WhatsApp, the merchant, the fake merchant, might be indicating to you that if you can make the payment directly to his account, direct to his account, you can get the product within a week or within few days, right? That is a sweet sort of words that can be spreaded out by the scammers. So the scammers and so on, that comes under negative vibes. Are you clear with the examples that I've indicated to you?
So negative vibrations, it would include like fake products.
Yeah, fake products. Yeah, fake products, fake purchase.
Yeah,
I can. Yeah.
And also issues about the tax payment.
Yeah. Yes.
Online selling, they will they do not pay tax.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah.
So these are sort of negative vibrations that can be caused by the digital war and shadow economic. Yeah. So yeah. So that is a sort of thing. Like say for example, the issues of digital hackers also can be counted as negative vibes, like where they when you're getting yourself to online platforms, right, there will be certain chances for your identities to be exposed to third parties, right, especially to the hackers. Yeah, like as what I've indicated, your username, your password, your bank account details, yeah, can be exposed automatically to the third parties or to illegal intruders or hackers the moment you get yourself online. Yeah, so they can even hack your system, hack your laptop system, yeah, so that they can steal all the private and confidential informations that you have, right? That could be a negative vibes as well, right? So you see that there are many negative vibes that we can observe. Yeah, it's a matter of how we are taking it, yeah. Okay, right? Clear?
Yes, clear, teacher.
Okay, good. So let's proceed. Now it's good for you all to raise a lot of questions here. Okay. Now you can also do the same for the second session as well. Okay. Now if we don't have enough time for today, then I'll continue with the second part of revision. Yeah. But guys, one thing that I wanted to tell you, I cannot share this sample with you, this sample file with you, because it's pretty confidential and it's almost close to the title. So if you have any questions after getting the assignment file, final assignment file, then you can write up to me. Okay, I can share some articles, some reports with you. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, related to this, I can share some reports or articles related to digital war and shadow economic. Yeah, but I cannot share the file with you. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, you can still view the file within the recorded version. Okay, it's just that I cannot give this file to you separately. Okay, so articles reports related to this title can be given to you. Yeah, you may want to use it for your final assignment later on. Okay, that can be done. Okay, now let me proceed. So evolutionary ecosystem, yeah. Okay, now we separate here evolutionary plus ecosystem. You look at evolutionary ecosystem. Evolutionary and ecosystem can be two different words or two different terms. Okay. Now let's look at one by one. Okay. I'm just summarizing that part of it. Okay. So when it comes to evolutionary, right? Okay. When it comes to evolutionary, we are trying to say it as a changing elements. Changing elements, changing or what we call as a non-fixed elements. What do I mean by changing or non-fixed elements? Okay, I'm trying to say that, okay, example, concentration, the types of products can change. What do I mean by types of products? Okay. Now, when it comes to a classical system, okay, you only talk about physical products. What do I mean by physical products? Products that you can hold, products that you can touch are what we call as a physical products. Examples. Can you touch iPad? Can you hold tab? Can you also hold a laptop or desktop or mouse or smartphone? Can. These are all what I call as a physical products. Physical products means products that you can hold and you can touch. Okay? And these physical products were concentrated fully during the classical period. Okay? But when it comes to evolutionary system, we still focus on physical products, but we do have another type of products, what I call as a virtual products. Or to put up things in a simpler way, it's a software. What do I mean by software here? Software refers to applications or programs that can be downloadable from a browser or from a site to perform certain activities. Give an example. Microsoft Team. Microsoft Team is a software. Software is something that you cannot touch. You cannot hold. You can only feel it. Right? That is what I call as a software. Right? So, Microsoft Team is a software that can be used for all the purpose, all the functions, such as exchanging information between friends, a platform where the educators or the lecturers can diffuse the knowledge that they have obtained to the students, right? And you can also share images, documentations, or video files with anyone that has access to it in a flexible moment. Yeah. So these are what we call as a software. Okay, right? Like Google Chrome. Okay. I believe that most of you have used up a google.com or Google Chrome, right? Or Firefox, right? Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer are all browsers. Applications are what we call as a software. It's a software. What is the common thing between the browsers that I've indicated to you? All this, it's like a platform that you can rely on to obtain information about certain things, right? So, in this case, we have physical and virtual products. Right? Okay. Now, another interesting thing that you need to know here will be physical products and virtual products can come together. That means you can consume both at the same time. How is it possible? Let me give you an example. A merchant from Malaysia consume Shopee to sell off his solar power banks to a consumer in UK using laptop. So here, based on the statement that I've indicated earlier, okay, a merchant from Malaysia consume or use Shopee to sell off his solar power bank to a consumer in UK using his laptop. So that means the Shopee is what we call as a virtual product. Laptop is what we call up as physical product, right? So that is a sort of example. So it can come together, or you can look at it separately if you want to. But anyway, in order for you to assess a virtual product, right? Okay, you should be having hardware, or what we call as a physical products. Like, say for example, you want to get into you want to access or you want to get into the e-commerce sites, you need at least a smartphone, right? At least a smartphone. If it's not a laptop or if it's not a tab, just a small sized smartphone will do. Yeah, right? So you cannot be getting in touch with virtual products without having the physical. Yeah, okay. Now that is one of the example of changing element. Another one will be time. Change of time. Change of time means I'm trying to say that earlier we only focused on short run. Now we have to focus on short run to medium run. Medium run, long run. Now, there's no fixed duration for short run, medium run, and long run. Okay, how do we detect that? Okay, how do we detect which one refers to which one? Yeah, how do we detect or how do we evaluate the presence of short run? Okay, the moment, the moment, the moment you are saying that the products are fixed, the resources are fixed, that's where you can make a conclusion that we are living within the presence of short run. Yeah, usually short run will not allow the exchange of resources like labors or machineries from one country to another country. Yeah, that will not happen in short run perspective, right? Okay, and a growth normally will not take place in the short run, right? Okay. Now, when it comes to medium run, okay, usually a medium run is actually within a middle part between short run and long run. Okay, so medium run, okay, it's not that flexible. We still have what we call a change of growth, but it's not that severe. Yeah, it's not that severe. Okay, you can only observe a certain portion of differences in terms of the growth or resources. Yeah, but still within the medium run, the resources might not be allowed to be transferred between the countries. Okay, but when it comes to long run, okay, that's where all the resources can be mobile between the countries. Yeah, okay, and a level of transfer of knowledge can take place. Yeah, there will be more accumulation of apps coming in. Okay, right now we are living in a long run perspective. Now we are no longer within a short run or medium run. We are living in a long run perspective. Okay, we are already within the long run perspective, where we are trying to say that there's already a change of technology and innovation. That means people, inventors and programmers keep on focusing on the development of new products, right? Okay, or getting into new projects and so on. Okay, looking for more funds and so on. Okay, that is what we call a long run perspective. Okay, now earlier when we talk about PPC in the beginning part of it, okay, it was assumed or it was developed in such a way that it has to be in the short run perspective, right? But later on, when it comes to long run perspective, we don't have a fixed number of fixed units of resources or products that we can come out with, because the numbers can change frequently. Yeah, right. So that is another characteristic of evolutionary system. Okay. So as I said earlier, change of technology and innovation. Change of technology and innovation, imperfect information, meaning to say that, okay, say for example, okay, both of us have access to Google Chrome. Both of us have access to Google Chrome, to Firefox, to Internet Explorer. Okay. Now, even though this sort of virtual products exist in reality, but still we cannot say that we know well about certain things on 100% basis. There's always imperfect information. Okay, where one party knows better than another party, right? Okay, so that is what we call as an imperfect information. Okay, right? And uncertainty. Right? So these are the most important characteristics of evolutionary. Okay, right. Now when it comes to ecosystem, what is ecosystem? Now when it comes to ecology, right? Okay, ecology. we are looking at living biological elements. What do I mean by living biological elements? When we refer to ecology, we are talking about biological organisms. We are talking about humans. We are also talking about animals. But what is ecosystem? Ecosystem talks about lively details, lively elements, right? Lively elements, living elements, okay, in a way. So ecosystem refers to all the living elements. Living elements means, like as I said earlier, you're talking about information, right? So information will still be there as long as we have access to the social media or social platforms. When the social platforms, when we put an end to social platforms or social media, say for example, you stop watching television. You stop watching television, you put a full stop to newspapers, right? You put a full stop to your smartphone and so on. You'll be living in an isolated world. You don't know what's happening around you, okay? So that is not what I call as the ecosystem. So ecosystem refers to an alertness. That means all the society members are having the alertness on what are the things that are happening around them. That is ecosystem, right? That is ecosystem, sort of sound of alertness, okay? But basically, I'm referring ecosystem to be a living elements. But that means there is no expiry to these elements. Information will always be there as long as there are stakeholders who are willing to share it, right? Now you might have noticed that within WhatsApp, one information will be forwarded to another site will be forwarded. A lot of transfer of information that are happening over there. There's no date to it. There's no date to it. That means all the elements will be stored within the WhatsApp until you delete it. The moment you delete it, that means the information has been expired from your memory, right? So information will not be, information or details will not be expired from your memory until you delete it, until you erase it off. So you look at a WeChat, right? Normally you look at a WeChat, you see a lot of information, right, coming in, okay? Now, when you notice all these are coming in, if you delete it, that will be deleted, right? I mean, sometimes when you press delete, right, it will get into a recycle bin. So you can still retrieve it back from recycle bin. But some smartphones will not be tied up with recycle bin. They might just, the moment you delete it, it will be totally expired from the smartphone unless you use another technology to retrieve it. Okay, that is what I meant by evolutionary ecosystem. Right? So guys, are you all clear with that?
Related to all the living elements.
Yeah, the living elements. Yes. Yeah. So evolutionary always comes together with ecosystem. So that's why we are putting them together. So in a way, we tend to say that evolutionary ecosystem refers to living and changing elements. That means if you put this together, right, evolutionary ecosystem, it's refers to living and changing elements. Got it? Okay, the examples I think I've already told you, right? Changing elements refers to like types of product. I mean, the change of time, change of technology and change of information. Yeah. Now we have two types of information really. One is genuine, another one is a fake news, fake information. Even some are still spreading out fake news, right? Okay, right. Like say for example, like what I was indicating earlier about the Shopee Pay app. Okay, there are some irresponsible or unauthorized parties who are spreading up fake news on Shopee. That is on the basis of Shopee Pay app. Shopee Pay app doesn't exist in reality, but then they are spreading out the word as if it is within the existence. Yeah. So that is what they call as a fake information. Yeah. So fake information can still come under evolutionary ecosystem because it's still living. It's still living among the living among the society members. Society members are still seeing the fake news that are being spread out to them using different social platforms, right? So that is what I call as a evolutionary ecosystem. Now, any question?
For example, if internet connections, it helps to enhance living standards. So it is also evolutionary ecosystem.
I mean internet?
Yeah, I mean the internet.
Yeah. Yes, internet. Yes, internet is also what I call as a living element because why I'm saying it because internet is still an element that exists. That means internet is basically what we call as a inter. That means internetwork. Internetwork means it allows us to communicate not only within our territories, not only within our country. We can also communicate or build up business relationships with others from different countries. Yeah. So as long as the internet still exists, as long as there's no expiry for it, then internet can also be counted as one of the elements within the evolutionary ecosystem.
As long as it change the living of people.
Correct. That's right. That's right. Like when it comes to a concept of what we call as a smart city, yeah, like it's a smart city, or sometimes we can call it as a society 5.0. Okay, actually, this has something got to do with evolutionary ecosystem in terms of innovation. Yeah. Now, smart city. Okay, the reason why we call it up as a smart city. Now, let me recall back. Okay, why are we calling a phone as a smartphone? Why not we classify it as a phone alone? Why not we just call it up as a mobile phone? Now it's very rare. I mean, it's very rare for people to classify it as a smartphone. Whenever they talk to others here, they used to say that where's your mobile phone? Actually, what they are asking, a mobile phone is, for me, I would classify it as a general term. It's not a mobile phone. I mean, when your device, when your phone is being occupied or being equipped with, internet features, internet capacities, that phone should be classified as a smartphone. So same goes to the smart city. When you refer to a city is what we see as a sort of normal thing. Okay, we are seeing a lot of cities around within the country. Yeah. Okay, but when you add up the word smart in the front part of it, you're trying to educate. You're trying to make sure that all the cities are tied up with digital facilities. That means internet access, Wi-Fi access, or network access should be given to all the cities within the country. And that is the logic of a smart city, in which, regardless of whether you're dealing with younger or elder generations, all of them must know how to deal with digital instruments. They must know how to use a smartphone. They must also know how to access or how to purchase or buy products using the websites or the apps. Yeah, I mean that is a very important question when we were in the beginning part of COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah. Now that's where all the industries have thought about, especially within the developing and least developed countries. That's why they thought about new inventions of facilities that can actually reduce the risk of COVID-19 spread. Yeah, that's where they start to use digital robotics. Yeah. Now, can you use robotics over here? Like you can also use humanoid robots. You can also talk about humanoid robots, how humanoid robots can be used within the environment, within the digital environment. Okay. Now, what do I mean by humanoid robots over here? Now, when you classify it as a humanoid robots, you are trying to say that the robots have the faces of humans. That is why the word human comes in the front part, human. The robots have the faces of humans. That is why the human comes in. The OID, OID is because of the Android version. Now most and all of the humanoid robots are being equipped with the Android applications. So that is why we use the combine human and all together. Call it as a humanoid robots. Yeah. So how we can also look into how the humanoid robots can actually influence the digital welfare of the society members. Yeah. Now when the countries are being exposed to COVID-19 pandemic. Most of the countries like Hong Kong, China, even Malaysia, Indonesia have started using humanoid robots within their cafes, restaurants, and also in hospitals. Yeah, okay, to ensure that the patients are being treated well. That's one thing. Second thing is that they wanted to avoid, in fact, in hotels as well, yeah, because the moment you use humanoid robots, then you might tend to reduce the COVID-19 cases or the spread of it, at least reduce the spread of it, yeah, break up the chain of it, yeah, okay. So you see, so that's what I'm trying to say. So you can use this example of humanoid robots. So humanoid robots also can come under evolutionary ecosystem. Or in fact, you can talk about blockchain as well. Blockchain, right? Okay. Blockchain is what we call as long time ago, yeah, centuries ago, during the classical period. When it comes to a transaction, right, we used to take a ledger. Yeah, you know what is a ledger? It's actually, this is what we call as a digital ledger, where you see most of the transactions, in the early stage, most of the transactions are recorded in a documentation. That means a hard copy. There was no soft copy to it. Okay, only hard copies. Okay. Now, if the transactions are within a lower ground, okay, so for example, if you're going to make if your customers, like say for example 100 or 200 or 300 or 500, there will be a possibility for you to allocate some time to transfer all those things into a hard copies, like into a hard copy version of a ledger, yeah. But what if you're going to deal with 1 billion or 2 billion? Are you going to use a ledger, normal documentation to transfer all those information? No, it's going to be a ridiculous sort of thing. It's going to be time consuming. Yeah. So that is where the blockchain has been introduced where the some of the merchants that are being tied up with 1 billion, even more than 1 billions of customers, yeah, they feel that, you know, blockchain, or what we call as a digital ledger, will be a better sort of solution that can store the details about the transactions that they have made with the 1 billion plus customers, right? Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is that, okay, just now I have talked about the fake products, right? Okay, now China has taken this sort of precaution where they have used the blockchain technology effectively. You know what they have done? Okay, when they know that the counterfeit items, about 80 to 90% of the products within the market are counterfeit, or what we call as a fake one, that's where they start to use the blockchain technology fully, yeah, in which they tend to put up a barcode stick, or install a barcode within each of the products that are being produced. That means within the barcode, you can observe the merchant name, the manufacturing date, the expiry date, and the contents of it, the contents of the ingredients of the products. Okay. When the customer scan through the barcode, yeah, the details of the customers will be inserted into the smartphones of the merchants. That means the smartphones will, the manufacturers or the sellers of the products will be getting an alert sound, an alert message as well. Okay, when each of the customers scan through the barcode. Okay, so that is using the microchip technology. Yeah, so blockchain technology is being used together with the microchip. Okay, so that the barcode will be there to ensure that the customers will be getting enough sets of information before they decide to buy, or for them to reduce their fear. Yeah. Okay. At the same time, the information about the merchants and also the buyers are being transferred one to another. Yeah, that means the details of the buyers will be within the set of the merchants or sellers, and the details of the merchants will get into the system, the smartphone system of the buyers. Yeah. So with that, in case if they have any sort of doubts or concerns and so on, they can easily communicate with the respective merchants to verify doubts that they have, right? So that is another example of element that can come under evolutionary ecosystem, right? So any question? Guys, any question?
Yeah, it's clear, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to the next one. Okay. Now, okay, next one would be since we have already verified the key terms, or what I call as a key clues, let's look at the instructions. Okay. Now, the instructions are quite quite in the standardized version. Yeah, that means all the instructions are being standardized, but it might differ from from one subject to another. Yeah, I've added up some of the additional instructions to it. Okay, like the first one, as I said earlier, you're not going to do this sort of task on a group basis. Okay, you're going to do it on an individual basis. That means each one of you must come out with the essay, what I call as a thematic essay. Yeah. the essay, what is the meaning of thematic essay here? Okay. Now, the essay that you're going to come out, it must have 3 different terms. Now, what do I mean by terms over here? I mean teams. Sorry, teams, not terms. Okay, teams. Okay, so teams are what I call the issues. Okay, like say for example, if we decide that you're going to talk about Industry Revolution 4.0, that can be counted as one of your theme. So what are the things that you're going to talk about within the Industry Revolution 4.0, and how is it related to the key clues that I've given to you, right? So that is the matter. Okay. Now we will talk about that when it comes to the guidelines or criteria, the assignment criteria. Yep. Now it has to be in the format of an essay. Okay. Now the font type has to be Times New Roman, and font size, square, lines spacing, double lines. Okay. Right. It has to be a double lines. Okay. Now you are expected. That means you see for this assignment. Okay. Now you're expected to list out, or to put it up in a different way, to identify the relevant theories that are related to the key clues that we have talked about. Okay, and you have to say out, voice out on the consistency or contradictions of the theories with the realities. Okay, say for example, I'm just giving an example. Okay, later on for this assignment you are required to pick up at least 2 countries. Yeah, but I don't want to burden you further. That is why I'm advising you to stick to 2 countries. Okay, but based on the instruction you can focus on at least 2 countries. Yeah, if you want to have 3 countries, that's up to you. Yeah. Now, but you must have a minimum of 2 countries. That is sort of a compulsory thing. Okay. Now, when it comes to the theory, like say for example, theory of innovation. Okay. Now, within the theory of innovation, you have a creative destruction. Okay, creative destruction. Okay. Now, what do I mean by creative destruction over here? Creative destruction refers to the replacement of the system, of the ideas, products, from old to new, right? Okay. So the moment you do a sort of replacement from old to new, yeah, that's where you have to. That's where you have to prove it out. You have to check out the real data that you have for the countries that you selected. Okay, and then you have to match it out. You have to see whether the theory has fully been implemented by the country or not using the data, right? Okay, or is it contradicting? Yeah. If you observe that the countries that you have selected are replacing are within the momentum of replacing old mechanisms with new system on a regular basis, and then we can say that as creative destruction is a principle that is being used up by the countries, right? Okay, but if it's not using it, then it's contradicting. Yeah, okay, right? I mean, that is just for the sake of example. You can it is advisable for all of you to use the theories that you have learned from the classroom sessions, right? Okay, I think if you refer to the number of theories that you have learned, I think it's about 20 plus. Yeah, but I'm not expecting you to vomit out all the 20 plus theories within the classroom session. Yeah. Later on, I'll specify the number of theories that you need to put in for this assignment. Yeah. Okay. So, if possible, try to just focus on the theories that you have learned within your lecture and tutorial sessions. Yeah. If you feel that you want to theories from external sources like newspapers or reports or magazines or journal articles or conference proceedings, by all means you can go ahead, but you must make sure that the theories that you're going to adopt, the external theories that you're going to adopt, have to be related and relevant to the key clues that you're going to talk about. Basically, the themes that you're going to relate with. Yeah. Okay. So if it's not related, then it's better to omit it out. Okay. Right? Because marks will also be given for the theories and for the discussions, right? For the critical discussions that you're going to do. Yeah. So if you're not going to have relevant theories, then that's going to reduce your marks. Okay, right? And guys, this is quite common, okay, where students might prefer to just copy and paste, okay. Now there should not be an attitude of copying the paragraphs, the whole paragraphs, or the whole essay, and paste it into your own write-up. Please don't do that, okay? Because if you are caught to have a higher level of plagiarism, then your grade will be affected. Okay, so that is why I'm saying that you can deal with a minor level of plagiarism. Okay, as I said to you, the standardized version of similarity index 13 index that you should have is 15%. Okay, anything lesser than 15% should be okay, but if it's more than 15%, you are tied up to a sort of certain penalty, right? So you have to be really careful. Okay, now you might ask me a question, sir, in that case, what happens if I put in my cover page and the marking rubrics into the right? Now, the response to that question will be, there's no need for you to put in a cover page. No need to put in a cover page, right? You can just put in the marking rubrics, and your write-up must have the headings. Within the headings, you must have your full name, your ID, and the title. Okay, so all these will be given to you at later part. With all these are available within the instructions. Not these instructions. Later on, you'll be getting another set of instructions. These instructions, some of it are quite common to what you're going to get later on. Okay, but some of it are different. Okay, right? So you must try your best to stick to at least, to stick to 15%, or lesser than 15%, for the Turnitin part, yeah, okay, right. Yeah.
So the format of the final assignment, we must have introduction, body, and the conclusion.
Yeah. The write-up, okay, the write-up part, you must have your introduction, okay, you must have the body part. Your body of discussions will be within the context of themes. Say, for example, you create one section. The first section will be introduction. The second part is the body part, right? So you're going to create, like, say, for example, 1.1 is introduction, 1.2 is the first theme, 1.3 is the second theme, 1.4 is the third theme, and 1.5 can be conclusion. You can do that, okay? Or if you want, you can do it like this. 1.1, you can put it as an introduction. Maybe 2.1 can be the first theme, 2.2 second theme, 2.3 third theme, and then when it comes to conclusion, you can put it as 3.1 conclusion. You can do that. You have to separate it according to the sections, yeah. And then after that, you must also have a references. So the one that you're going to submit, right? The file that you're going to submit must have the orders like this. First, you must put in your marking rubrics. The first thing that you must have is your marking rubrics. Second part will be your write-up. Your write-up that has the introduction, the body part, and the conclusions. Okay. Third thing that you must have is the reference. So these are the three things that you must compile into a single file. Okay. And as I have indicated to you earlier, okay, the write-up must have a heading. Within the heading, you must have your full name, your ID, and the title of the essay. Right? Clear with that? Yeah. So now you might also ask another question, sir. Isn't it that if all of us imagine if we have about 34 students, if all the 34 students are putting up the marking rubrics, isn't it that the index can be higher than 15%? You might be, you might have that sort of doubt within your mind. Yeah. So, see, when it comes to plagiarism, okay, we are looking at plagiarism from the perspective of contents. Only the contents. That means, what do I mean by contents here? I'm referring to the write-up. If your plagiarism index, if most of your plagiarism index is actually from the marking rubrics or references, that should be fine. That should be okay. Right? I repeat it again. If most of your plagiarism index comes from marking rubrics and references, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay? But if most of your Turnitin index, if let's say for example, if about 30% or 40% of the Turnitin index comes from the contents of your write-up, introduction, body, and conclusions, then you'll be in trouble. Right? So that one you have to be careful. Okay? Right? Now, you can always verify with me, by sending me messages, because some have actually sent me messages, earlier when you're facing a quiz and so on. So you can have the same sort of practice. Once you get your title, once you get a final assignment file, if you have any questions, you can still ask me. Okay, right? If we miss the two parts of the revisions. Okay, right? Now, let's move on.
Teacher, so
Yeah.
we have to put the marking rubrics.
The first page.
On the first page when we turn on the Turnitin.
No. Here you don't have to put it. You don't have to put in a Turnitin report, because the moment you submit your file into HLMS, the Turnitin will be generated automatically. So you just have to. Sorry. Yeah.
Only the contents of the assignment.
Yeah, only contents means, first page you must have a marking rubrics, and then the following pages you must have the write-up together with the references. Yeah, that's what I meant by the orders. So the first order must be the marking rubrics. The second part must be the write-up with the heading, and third part must be the reference. Okay.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
No problem. Yeah. So let's move on. Okay. So it's good to have a lot of questions here, because later on, once I done the first part, you might have a lot of questions to ask me. So no worries. You can still communicate with me in the chat box using Microsoft Teams. Okay. Right. So now let's move on to the next part. You are expected to be more critical when you are discussing the consistencies and contradictions of the facts with relevant UVs. I think I've talked about this earlier, okay? Right? So you must always make a comparison between the theories that you have learned within the lectures and tutorial sessions with the real data that you are seeing. Okay, sometimes the data or documentations that you are seeing in reality might not be the same as the theories. Yeah. Okay. So in that case, you will have the opportunity to talk about the contradictions. Okay. Right. So now you should also avoid from referring to Investopedia, Wikipedia. Yeah. Please avoid all those sort of sites. Okay. And this might be slightly different from what you're going to get later on. Okay. So you may want to refer to the instructions carefully. There can be some changes. As I said earlier, what I'm showing to you, the instructions that I'm showing to you, might be slightly different from the one that you're going to get. Okay, so please spend some time reading the instructions once you get the final assignment file from your fab. Okay, right. So for now, I can tell you that I can tell you to avoid some of the references, especially on the basis of Investopedia, Trading Economics, Tutor.net, Wikipedia. Why I'm saying this? Because the sites that I'm indicating here, yeah, have no proper regulation and zero ownership. That means as long as you have a username and password, you can always go pop in and contribute your ideas. Yeah. Now the ideas, since the ideas are not acknowledged, okay, you might not want to use it. Okay, so we as educators or academicians don't prefer to advise the students to refer to these sites because we want the students to refer to reliable sources. Like say for example, if you refer to magazines like Financial Times, or you refer to Business Insiders or The Economist or Global Finance, yeah, that should be okay because this sort of magazines that I've indicated earlier are well established, right? Okay, so you are expected to avoid Investopedia, Trading Economics, Tutor.net, Wikipedia, and you can refer to news, Straits Times, The Star, Financial Times, Business Insiders, The Economist, and so on. Okay, right? These are all magazines here. Okay, now I think I've indicated this earlier to you already, yeah, so I don't have to repeat it again. Okay. I think we might not have enough time to go through this, but anyway, let me just put up a summary, yeah. Okay. Now for the introduction part, okay, and then I'll continue this part again in the next session. Okay. In the next session, we'll be talking about the guidelines together with the marking rubrics. Okay. Now for the introduction part, okay, now you must understand one thing here, yeah, okay. When you're getting a title, just now you know what we did? Just now when we get a title, okay, what I have advised you to do is to look into the key clues or the keynotes or the keywords, right? Okay, and then you have to provide the characteristics. Maybe it can be in terms of definitions or examples. That's what you have to do, right? So within the introduction, right, the first thing that you must do, don't straight away jump into the gun, okay? Don't straight away talk about the countries, okay? You should follow the flow, yeah? So the first thing that you have to talk about when it comes to the introduction will be the overview of the economic system, okay? Now, when I've already talked to you about the evolutionary system, right, you may want to say a few words, or you may want to have some citations. You can have some citations like, say for example, if you don't have the latest citations like, later on I think I'll put up some articles, some latest articles. Latest articles means articles that have been published in the early 2022, yeah. So you can actually put in some of the citations, yeah. So when you talk about digital war or shadow economic, or when you talk about evolutionary system, you can also give up your opinions. At the same time, you can support your opinions with some related references, right? Okay, so that is what I want you to focus on when it comes to the overview of the economic system. You may ask me a question, sir, is it okay if I put up a graphical illustration? Yes, by all means. Let's say, for example, if you want to talk about digital war, you want to talk about e-commerce sites, you may want to show up a graph that is with the types of, the growth rate of e-commerce subscribers. Yeah, you might want to highlight the importance of e-commerce sites by referring to the number of subscribers, number of digital subscribers. Yeah, okay. And the most important thing here is that when you're dealing with a digital environment, yeah, you also want to talk about internet facilities or Industrial Revolution 4.0 or 5.0. Yeah. So you can talk about related things. You can just give an overview. It does not need to be in a depth form. Yeah. You don't have to talk about it a lot, but just a short one. Okay. So usually for introduction, right, I would suggest you to stick to maybe about if it's worse, maybe 200 to 300 words will do. Or if you can focus lesser will be good. Yeah, because introduction is about 15% only. Body, you see, 65%. Okay, so yeah, okay, so I think I'm just afraid that I can't continue further because it's already 11:32. Yeah, okay, so and as I said earlier, we have only been given 2 hours. Yeah. 2 hours for today and 2 hours for on the 31st of May, right? So I think we should continue talking about the guidelines and also the marking rubrics of final assignment on the 31st of May. Is that okay, guys?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. We are going to talk about guidelines and marking rubrics on the 31st. That means next week. Not next week. Coming week. Yeah, coming week. Tuesday. 31st of May falls on Tuesday. We are going to have the session from 11:30 to 1:30. Yeah, that's where I'm going to focus on the guidelines and marking rubrics. Okay.
Could you share this work to the LMS later during revision?
Sorry.
Could you share this work to the LMS after revision?
No, actually, as what I said, I can't share this file with you because it's like a confidential thing. I can only show it to you. I think when I share the recording part, you will be able to see this file, but I cannot share the file explicitly to you within HLMS. But instead of that, I can share some articles, some magazines I can share with you. Yeah, because the reason why I can't share this file is because you have not gotten your assignment file. And if I share this file, I think it's more like having a conflict with your assignment file. So that is why I don't want to send this file, because although this file is a sample file, but still some of the instructions or some of the guidelines might be similar to what you will be getting in your final assignment. Yeah, so I wouldn't advise you to refer to this file. This file is only to show you how you can respond to it, how you have to approach the final assignment. The concepts like digital war and shadow economic are related, are important when it comes to your final assignment. That's why I picked up this title. This title is not the actual title, sample title. So I'm so sorry about that. It's not that I don't want to share, but it's like violating the rule, okay? Because it's private and confidential. I can only show it to you, but I can't put it into HLMS. So that is the thing. But instead of that, as I said earlier, I can share some reports, some articles that might be useful for you. When it comes to your final assignment. Okay. I'll share this recording. I'll put it up into HLMS by today or latest by tomorrow. Okay.
So we will discuss about the guideline on the next revision.
Yes, on the 31st of May.
25th, yeah.
Yeah, we will be discussing the two parts because that is the parts that we left out, right? Guidelines and the marking rubrics. And if we have the time, then I'll give you some samples. I'll show you some samples. I mean, on how you can start up the paragraphs. I can show you some samples. Yeah. And then one more thing, the samples will not be shared with you as well because you have not gotten the title. You will only be getting your title on the 4th of June, right? So you can, I can show the samples next week related to digital war and shadow economic. But I mean, as I said, I can't upload it into HLMS. Okay, that is only to guide you how you can start up with your essay, right? Because samples can be shown to you if you are done with the guidelines and the marking rubrics. Okay, once we talk about guidelines and the marking rubrics next week, if we still have some time, then I'll show you the samples. Okay, even if I don't show you the samples also, once you get your assignment title right, okay, if you have any questions or if you don't understand anything or if you don't know how to start, you say, sir, I'm stuck in the middle. I don't know how to start. I don't know how I should progress. If we have that sort of questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. You can text me using Microsoft Teams. Okay, so make full use of that. Okay, so you can still communicate with me. If you don't understand anything after you have obtained the title. Okay, or if you don't understand any of this, any of the things that we have covered right now, you can still post your questions to me, okay, through Microsoft Teams. Okay, is that okay, guys?
It's okay, teacher.
Okay, so I think if there's no further question, I would like to thank all of you for your participations, and I'm so sorry for not being able to share the files. Okay, I've already explained the reasons for it, and hope to see all of you on the 31st of May. Right? Take care, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Take care.
See you in the next revision.
Yeah, sure. See you on the 31st of May. Yeah. Okay, guys, take care, and I'm going to end the call right now. Yeah. Okay. Right.